morning, it's Will from Ilkley Brickwork. We're in Boston Spa today and we're working on this extension behind me. So today we're going to make a few videos talking about what's going on here. So you can see from the back, it's a full length extension across the back of this house. It's also going up 2 floors. So today we'll talk about a few of the things that are going on, why we're building it, how much of it we're actually building, talk about some of the costs, some of the issues we found, and a few other issues as well to do with planning and the building control and aspects like that. Hope that's some use. Let's go and have a look and I'll see you over there. So on this job we're going to talk about the scope and what we're actually doing. So what we did was we took over from this point here, so from that air brick. So when we started that was already done and we've just continued to build upwards from there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this shell up to what we call wall plate height. So we'll build up to a point where the roof can go on. So for a project this size, it started there. In this case, the customer provided all the materials. So something similar to this would cost around 25 to 50,000, just depending on the size, the openings, the complexity, material choices, access, that kind of thing. What we could do as well, if we wanted, if you don't have these footings in, is we can also do that for customers. So if you want us to do the footings, the foundations, and get your floors in, we can do all that as well. And obviously that will be an additional cost on top. So one of the aspects on this property is the cavity. So what we've got here is a 100mm cavity. Now, if this were designed currently and submitted for planning reg, this would have to be 150. The building regs have changed to allow for insulation of buildings and to improve that. But what's happened here is these plans were old and they were passed previously, so they stood. So basically we've been allowed to do the 100mm cavity as per the drawings, which were pre-2023 when the planning laws changed. So if you're building this today, or if you're looking at thinking of doing a new project, then you'll have to have a 150mm cavity, because that's how it's going to be now. But because this is historical, we've been allowed to do 100, and that's the reason why. So some of the other issues that we come across is when we connect the new part to the old building. So what we've done here is we're starting to build up. So obviously this is the old part and this is the new. Now building control in this area stipulate you have to set the new section back. So normally you'd let that run right through and have a continuous line, but it has to be stepped back. So that's why that's like that. That's just the way it's done around here. So sometimes you can do that and just render it and make it look like all one, but in this case they actually want it to look like it is an addition, and that's why that's had to be stepped back. And then we attach into the existing, and then the whole thing becomes one big unit that's built together. So if you've got a project you want to talk to us about, the first thing we can do is have a conversation. We'll do that over the phone. What we'll do is talk about what you're wanting to achieve, when you want it done by, who's involved, all that kind of thing. And usually during that conversation we can give you a rough idea of price based on typicals and averages of past projects. So what we can then do, if that all sounds good, we'll move into a pre-construction phase and we'll talk a bit more about how we're actually going to do the project, and we'll come and do a site survey. Now one thing that can come up on this that can really throw a spanner in the works is access. Now in this case this is a very narrow access path that we've got, so we can't get in any diggers or dumper trucks like that, which would speed up allowing us to bring the materials in. So all the materials are getting delivered to the front and having to be brought around the back. So we could have 2 jobs that are virtually the exact same job, and then the one with better access is going to in effect be cheaper than the one with poorer access, because it's going to be more difficult to get the equipment in. And again, it depends on where you're building. So obviously building at the back is going to be a bit more complicated than building at the front, where all the materials and equipment can be dropped and it's a bit more accessible. So we'll always look at that on the site survey, and it's just to make you aware that sometimes the access can really change the price that we might have given you as an estimate. I hope that helps. So that's just to give you an idea of an extension type project that we do. If that's something you're interested in or you're thinking of it, we'd love to hear from you. So get in touch, go to the website and there's a contact form, fill that in, that'll come straight through to the office and we'll get back in touch with you and we can talk about that. I hope this has been interesting and we look forward to hearing from you and hearing about your project.